Hello my loves and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. It's been a while. I have come to realise that when it comes to reading, I thrive in spring and summer. That is when I come alive, that is when I feel my best, and apparently that is when I read the most. Spring is definitely springing. March can be such a weird month in the UK. We can have snow one day and then sun the next. It's weird, it's bizarre, I don't get it. What I thought I would do to kind of reintroduce myself back into the booktubing world is I would give a little update on what I've recently been reading and then what I'm currently reading. So yeah, apologies for the mess of the background. I don't really have an excuse. And I'm sorry if the lighting's off as well. I'm using natural light and it's cloudy, so the sun, he's coming, he's going. Sometimes he's here, sometimes he's not, but it's fine. We move and we continue. It's great. Let's start with my recent reads. These are the books that I have read in the last couple of months. So I don't think I've shared this on here yet, that I read this. If I have, I'm sorry, but I don't think that I have. But I have recently read Wildfire by Hannah Grace. This is the second book in the Maple Hills. I think it's the Maple Hills series. The first one is Icebreaker. I read that last year and I really, really enjoyed it. I had such a fun time with Icebreaker and I was really anticipating this book. I was really, really looking forward to it and like I enjoyed it. It was a fun time, I guess, but it didn't hit the way Icebreaker hit. I think I gave this 3 out of 5 stars, maybe even 2.5. I can't quite remember. But yeah, it's a fun read. It's not as big as Icebreaker. Icebreaker's quite a big book for a romance. And this is obviously following a different character. This follows Russ and a new character, Aurora. To be honest, it was quite a while ago when I read this, and I remember not really vibing with Aurora. She's not really my kind of gal. I mean, they're nice characters. I guess I just didn't get overly invested in her story. I really like Russ. I think he's really, really sweet, and I really enjoyed reading his chapters. But when it came to Aurora, I just wasn't really... I didn't really care. Didn't really care about her backstory, didn't really vibe with her as a character. But yeah, it was a fun read. Would I recommend it? Maybe it's like a good in-between read if you're looking for like an easy read between books, like a bit of a break. If you're reading quite heavy books and you want a bit of a break, this might be a good one to go for. But yeah, didn't enjoy it as much as Icebreaker. But I do think I will continue to pick up the Maple Hills books. I think the next one is about Henry, which I'm really excited about because I love Henry as a character. So yeah, there's that one. The next book! Okay, so if you have watched any of my previous videos, you might have seen I did like a mini reading vlog series of the ACOTAR books. If you haven't watched that, go check it out if you'd like. But it was only right for me to then continue my love for Sarah J Maas and pick up House of Earth and Blood, which is her newest urban fantasy series. I know the third book has just been released this year, I think in February, and that was kind of the prompt for me to pick up this book because I knew it was going to be all over Bookstagram and Booktube, and I knew I was just going to get massive FOMO. So I picked this up, I want to say in December, and I loved it. 4.5 out of 5 stars. I had such a good time with this book. I enjoyed it so much. I did go in a little hesitant because I had heard mixed reviews on it, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had so much fun. I loved the plot of this book. I loved the characters. The only character I just don't really gel with, which is a shame because she's literally the main protagonist, is Bryce. But that was more with the second book, which we'll get onto in a minute. All in all, I thought this was such a great introduction to the world. I'd seen videos of people saying like the introduction to this world's quite complicated and they couldn't really get their head around it at first. I didn't really have that issue. I had it a couple of times maybe, but I still was very easily able to follow who was from where and like what is what and who is who and where is where and all that jazz. So I didn't struggle too much with the world building aspect of this book. I love how Sarah J. Maas writes. I just fall into her worlds every time, and this one is no different. I was again a bit hesitant with urban fantasy. The only other urban fantasies I've ever read is The Mortal Instruments, and even then I've only read like the first 3 books, I think. You can see them there. I've only read the first 3. And like, yeah, I enjoyed them. I reread them pretty recently. I think I reread them last year. And they're fun and all, but for me, when I want to read a fantasy, it's because I want to escape into a completely different world, a completely different realm. Obviously, Mortal Instruments is set in our world, it's set in New York, whereas this is set in a completely different world. Even though it is an urban city, it's completely made up, completely fictional. Yeah, loved the characters. I really loved the plot line of this book. It just kept me going. I think I read this book in the space of like 3 days. Oh, I just couldn't stop reading it. I was just obsessed. Could I see where the book was going? Absolutely not. I literally had no idea where it was heading to, where it was going. Just had such a good time reading it. If you liked the ACOTAR books and you like Sarah J. Maas, then yes, I would say pick up House of Earth and Blood, Crescent City, do it. Just do it, just do it. And then the last book that I've read recently, I don't think would come to a shock to any of you because of how much I love this author. Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. This is Ali Hazelwood's, I want to say, her first young adult novel. So it's still a woman in STEM-esque book, but the characters are late teens, early 20s. I want to say they're like 19, I believe. 19 and 21 or something along those lines. And there isn't any smut in this book like there are in her other Women of STEM books. So if you wanted to try an Ali Hazelwood but you were put off by that element, maybe try Check and Mate. I gave this 3.5 out of 5 stars. I did really enjoy it. However, it didn't hit the same as her other books. Every single one of her other books I read in 24 hours. I devoured them. This took me, I don't know, maybe 4 days to get through. I didn't gel with the main character as much as I have in her other books. I wasn't really invested in the love story between the 2 characters. Like it was good. Like I had a good time and I enjoyed it, and I kind of wanted to see where the plot went, and I did want to see the relationship between 2 characters like grow and where it would go. But I was just a bit like, yeah, it's good. I had a good time. Is it going to be one that I'm going to reread? Probably not. But it's an Ali Hazelwood. How can I not pick up an Ali Hazelwood? I love her writing. I love her women in STEM novels. I devour them every time, so I needed to pick this one up. I just think, I don't know, I felt like she wanted to write more mature content, but had to hold back because it's a YA. So, or a new adult, I don't know. So, oh, if you like her books, like check it out, but don't have too high expectations, I would say. Okay, so those are the 3 books that I have recently read. I am now going to go on to the books that I am currently reading. The first one, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm DNFing. I've given it a go, but it's just not hitting the way I thought it was going to hit, and that is Bloodstream by Emily Carter. This was a very random purchase for me. I was in the works and I saw it, and I'm really into my F1, and I got the vibe that was also going to be like a motorsport romance, and I was like, yeah, that sounds like a bit of me, I'll get it. I am 146 pages in, chapter 13, and it's just, I'm just not gelling. I don't care for any of the characters. I'm not really gelling with the writing style. I don't really think it's that great. The relationship development between the 2 main characters, I don't even know what's happening with it. Like, one minute they're complete strangers because she's new in the scene, and then the next they're vibing as if they've been talking or they've known each other for ages. I don't know, I just feel like there's been no build up. I feel like the relationship just is happening, but there's no explanation as to why it's happening. I don't know. And then there's like, it's trying to give found family, but it's not really working. Again, I don't really think the relationship between the characters has been developed very well, which is a shame. I feel like this had really good potential and it's just kind of fallen a bit flat for me. So I am DNFing this book, unfortunately. Now, the next book I'm currently reading is a bit battered, bless it. But it is Percy Jackson and the Battle of the Labyrinth. This is the 4th book in the Percy Jackson series, and I'm just having a great time. This is the book that I kind of turn to when I just need like a light-hearted read. This is the book that I carry around with me, so if I have time on like public transport or on a break at work, this is what I'll read. Bless it, it is so battered from being in my bag. But I'm just having a good time. I'm loving the characters, I'm loving where the story is going. I love Percy Jackson. I just think he's hilarious. I think he's such a fun protagonist to follow. I guess I can't really say too much about this book because it is the 4th in a series, and I'm so late. I am so late to the Percy Jackson bandwagon anyway, so you have probably already read it. And then the final book that I'm currently making my way through, this probably is no surprise to you considering what I have read recently, it is House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J Maas. This is the 2nd book in the Crescent City series. I am, how far am I? Chapter 49, which is page 538. I am not enjoying this as much as the first book, which is a shame, because I feel like this book has so much potential. I'm not. This book is kind of the reason why I've kind of clocked out of Bryce's story. She's kind of getting on my nerves a little bit in this book. I don't really enjoy her perspectives really in this book. Hunt, he's fine, he's there. He, like, I don't know, I'm kind of just not really interested in their storyline anymore. I feel like their storyline in the first book was great and I was more than happy to follow it and I loved it. I would be happy if these two took a bit of a backseat and we got POVs of other characters, which we do. We are introduced to some other characters' POVs in this book, which I have been enjoying so much. I kind of wish it was flipped. I wish we had more of their POVs rather than Bryce and Hunt's. Yeah, I think that's why it's taking me a lot longer to get through this book. I have been reading this for a little while now and I've still got a decent amount to go. So I'm still really enjoying it and I have a fun time while I'm reading it. And I am intrigued with where the plot is going. It's probably currently sitting at a 3.5 for me. I'm hoping by the end it will bump up to a 4, and let's be honest, it probably will. I've heard that the ending of this book is like insane, and I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm a paperback gal, and obviously the 3rd book is only out in hardback at the minute, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to wait for the paperback to come out. We're going to have to wait and see, but yeah. Okay, I've been rambling on for 16 minutes, so I think it is time that I wrap this up. That is what I've been recently reading and what I've recently read. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below what you've been recently reading and what you plan to read for spring. I don't really know. I'm kind of just seeing how I'm feeling at the moment and kind of gravitating towards what I want to read. I have definitely noticed that in the spring and summer I tend to go for either like summer romances, or I do love a good fantasy in the summer. I wouldn't be surprised if I end up going for my bigger fantasy books. Like I kind of been craving a bit of Brandon Sanderson, I can't lie. I'm feeling The Final Empire a little bit. So that may be propping up. I also have Ninth Reign, which I really want to pick up as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!